you all for being here tonight. All my aldermen are present. This time, I'd like to recognize Pastor Brooks, who will lead us in prayer, and Mr. Powell will then lead us in the praise of allegiance.
May we all bow, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, God, Abraham, Isaac. Father, we come before thee with a bowed head and on heart. First, say thank you. Thank you for this blessed day and all of thy many blessings. Father, we pray that your presence be felt here in these proceedings of what go on with this city. We ask blessing upon this mayor, this board of aldermen, and all that make up those that are here in this building tonight. That whatever need to be done, we ask that it all be done in the precious name of Jesus. And Father, we'll be so ever grateful to give you all the praise and all the honor. In the precious name of Jesus, we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both for that. This time we'll move on to item 3A. Mr. Simpson Goodman. Yes, sir. Mr. Goodman, you were asked by one of our aldermen to appear tonight. Before I turn it over to her for whatever questions she might have, how would you term the audit that you completed on behalf of the city?
Well, we would term it as good. The city has the best audit opinion that they can get, which is unmodified.
Okay. And in your interaction with city staff, did you find city staff to be cooperative?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Did they provide you with all of the information that you requested?
Yes, sir, they indeed did.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Bates?
Thank you for that, because that is a letter that you also gave to us as board members that did say that they did cooperate. And I would just like for you to just give us a brief overview of the financial statements and where we stand.
Yes, ma'am. Let me begin again by thanking the city. This is one of those engagements that is particularly dear to me because I got to get started with y'all before the city is even big enough to have a real audit. So to get to literally watch it grow, both physically as well as in the financial statements, has been a privilege. And so we thank the board for the opportunity to continue to work with y'all. If you have your audit report with you, I'll kind of run through and hit some of the highlights. And then of course we can take a look at any questions or any further details that you have. And I've got one additional handout to give to you this evening that will kind of give you a year-over-year comparison to your statement of activities, which I think could be beneficial. So we'll begin on page 2 of the audit, which of course it all boils down to is the opinion. As I mentioned, the city continues to earn an unmodified opinion, which basically means a clean audit opinion, which is the best thing that you can get. And again, I will comment that the staff, as far as the city is concerned, across the board has been phenomenal to work with, and that's literally been since day one in terms of working with the city, and that goes for all departments. We'll move to page 15, which is actually the statement of activities for the city for the fiscal year ending 9/30/2025. And basically, if you look towards the bottom of the longer column there to the far right, we look at the difference between your net position, your beginning net position, which of course was the city's ending net position at the end of fiscal 24, and then the new ending position at the end of fiscal 25. There is a slight decrease of about a $2.5 million decrease in the city's overall net position, but that is not necessarily a negative thing. There was a lot of activity related to assets. There were some assets that were disposed of, particularly it was a fair number of streets that ended up being removed from the city's inventory, and that caused probably the most substantial change in terms of the decrease there. And let's see, I think there was also some body cameras and a couple of vehicles that were disposed of during the course of the year, and we noted no issues with the manner of those disposals. This is just kind of how those numbers flush through the remainder of the financial statements. Kind of alongside this on page 15, if you actually will flip back to page 10, this is in the management's discussion and analysis portion of the report, which kind of helps to try to break down all the technical speak into a little bit more of a layman's or common English type way of looking at it. And so the chart there gives you the changes in that position year over year, the changes, yes, year over year. as well as the amount of the change and then the percentage of variance there. You know, this is pretty standard for the climate that we're in. For the city, of course, revenues went up year over year, but expenses also go up year over year, which is to be expected in the economic climate as well as with the growth that the city is experiencing. And one note that I did want to make sure that was brought up as part of the questions that brought us here today was there was a prior period adjustment in the audit report, which most auditors, nobody loves to hear about a prior period adjustment. And basically what that is it means that something from the prior year either changed such or did not get recorded in such a fashion that there needed to be a slight adjustment to this year's opening balances. And so it is a large one. It was about 6.7 million. The majority of that was basically a positive increase to fixed assets. There is, as part of the process, particularly when it came to the infrastructure that the city inherited, because things were not being recorded in real time at real cost when they were occurring, as they have in many years in the past. We must rely on management's estimates to help to determine values for these things. It's difficult to value streets. I'm certainly not an engineer, so we rely on department heads and then external engineers to assist with that. And the city did a great job of kind of taking some tools that we were able to help provide them and then turn that into some real data that was actually able to be used to provide valuation for these things so that they could be properly recorded. But again, that was something that, like I said, there was a fairly large change in estimate related to some of the values that we had in 24 versus what we received in 2025. So we ran that adjustment through. There's another small portion of that, which was an immaterial payroll liability versus payroll taxes that was not recorded at the end of the year, which again had a very, very slight variance on that. But this served, the prior period adjustment basically serves to kind of correct where we ended up so that we're beginning at the right point, so that way when you're looking at your ending numbers for 9/30/2025, you have more certainty that you're looking at correct figures and can make better comparisons. Let's see. I'm going to move on to page 18, which is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in your fund balances. And then I'll prepare a handout for everyone. And go over it together. I tried to make everybody go. So this gives you a year-over-year kind of comparison, again, with the variance analysis of what's favorable versus unfavorable between 24 and 25, taking a look at the major funds as they were presented in the financial statements. You'll notice that we had a few funds that were major in last year's audit that are no longer major this year because they've largely satisfied their purpose. In specific, that was the police station capital project fund. That project was largely completed, so it went away for fiscal 25. And then we added some new ones in terms of the street improvement for Calhoun Station and the street improvement for the Glucksat for those two funds that began to pick up some activity during fiscal 25. So they're presented separately this year. And then to the almost far right is your other governmental funds. So that's basically everything that's not major gets collapsed into this category. But your major funds are going to be the general fund, and then, as I mentioned, the two street improvement funds for fiscal 25. And this kind of just gives you a little bit of an opportunity to take a closer look at some of the more specific things that changed year over year regarding activities for the city. Alrighty, I'm going to keep on moving now to page 30, which is your capital assets. Of course, overall, we had a net increase of about 6.1 million in governmental assets. That was largely due to the acquisition or donation of the lands for the park, as well as some equipment, and then, of course, as we mentioned, the change in some estimates in terms of depreciation and valuation for certain infrastructure. Moving to page 35, this is just something that's really more of an informational one for you. The pension liability for most governments is probably the single biggest liability that's sitting out there. It's unique in how it's presented and it's unique in how it's accounted for because it doesn't sit out there as a true liability like a loan would or a bond would. But this gives you an idea of kind of what the city's actual proportionate share of the overall liability as far as it relates to retirement for employees goes. And this analysis gives you an idea of what just 1 percentage point change in the discount rate could be looking forward. If the discount rate were to drop to 6%, that means that the city's pension liability, their proportionate share is going to jump up by about $1.8 million. Whereas if it were to increase by just 1%, it would drop by about $1.4 million. So this just kind of gives you an idea of just how sensitive this is. Things related to PERS and pensions are typically we base those from other experts that are known as actuaries. And they do a lot of more advanced number crunching than what CPAs do to help make predictions and estimates for certain costs and what it's going to look like in the future in terms of the state's retirement system. Also of note, and of course, I believe y'all are already aware of this, but effective July 1st of 2025, the employer's share, the employer matching on the PERS contribution increased. And that is a trend that we will see going up through 2029. The employer share is going to increase by about 0.5% each PERS fiscal year, which would be at least July 1st each year. So it's something else that keep in mind for budget purposes. And that again is also a further measure showing the state's attempt to also fund PERS, to fund this liability. And then the last piece to go over on this is on page 37, and this just gives you an idea of the changes in the city's long-term debt. There was an overall decrease in outstanding debt by about $280,000. And of course, the city said at this point is largely made up of those general obligation bonds and then compensated absences, which is standard for government. So those hit the highlights. Does anybody have any specific questions or anything further that they'd like to discuss?
I have a question. On note 3 on page 28, is the prior period adjustment. It says number 2, infrastructure assets and equipment related to public works. Do you know exactly what that equipment is for?
That was something that we went back and we clarified during our chat on that one. To be perfectly honest with you, the wording could have been a little tighter in that particular description. It really was specific to infrastructure. Yes, there really was no major change in equipment, and so I do apologize for that.
Okay. Can we remove just and equipment from this report?
I have to reissue the entire report, which changes a lot for us. It's more of a stock description, but if you'd like me to discuss that further internally, we can.
I just want to make sure that it just says there's a record of it.
Yeah, and of course, the underlying detail, like the work papers that support these figures, also would show that. So we do have additional work papers that we can provide that would show exactly where that came from. I apologize for that.
Yeah, thank you. And then my last question for you. On page it's 14, under capital assets net, the land and construction in progress. What construction in progress is that here in 2025? Was it just roads?
Let's see, for 2025, off the top of my head, I know that we have.
It should be, it's just all our road projects.
It's just road projects
and
land.
Park project.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we did have some construction in progress.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it was in the engineering stage, especially with the park, but that's where we're at. We keep that as an ongoing thing that we've started keeping up with. And some of that includes county projects as well, because it's happening inside the city. So Yandell Road, a lot of that's going to be outside the city, but we took a percentage of footage of that road and calculated it into our construction progress because it affects the road.
Okay, and we didn't spend that money in 25.
Well, it was going on.
It's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and actually, on page 30, on that note 7, there, the chart related to capital assets,
Okay.
you'll see exactly what we've got recorded in there as construction in progress, and those additions were largely construction in progress related to road projects. And we thought maybe there was a tail end of the police department. I wasn't sure if that carried over to fiscal 25 or not, but the bulk of it was indeed the parks and the road. Excuse me, the parks was the land, the road projects were construction in progress. And then there was a large reclassification from prior year CIP that then became part of your buildings with the completion of the police department. So that was just a reclassification there.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions?
Any further questions? Sir?
I have one, I'm sorry. So, I've been an alderman for a year. I really appreciate you coming and going over this. This was helpful. So from a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being perfect, it's perfect.
So of course, an auditor
Or
can never
not,
say
or
that it's
not,
perfect,
you know.
unfortunately, but I can tell you that this is as good as it can
Okay.
get. That's one of the bummers about audit is we're usually only here to tell you the negative stuff. But I can say again, from our experience of working with the city in terms of the actual performance of the audit, it's a 10 plus. I enjoy working on this audit. I can't say the same for everybody. But again, as far as your opinion goes, it's the best you can get with 0 findings.
Is it, no, it's like, is it customary for you to come out and give us like these?
It depends. It's usually we treat that on a case by case
Okay.
basis. I have some governments that like it religiously, and then I have others who don't ever want to hear from us. So it all just depends.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you all
I'm
as
just
well.
gonna make one statement. The main thing here is when we do an audit, it's not your financial statements, it's ours. So we need to be looking at these and reading through these just to make sure we understand what's going on the accrual basis.
That is correct. The financial statements do belong to the city.
Thank you, Mr.
All
Miller.
right. Thank y'all very much for your time.
Can I point out a number? One of the things I noticed, and with this board made a change a year ago on our grant writer. We have 2 new grant writers, and Carrie, we had a 62% increase in the amount of funds that came in from grants and contributions,
What page is it?
$356,000. And I think these 3 need to be commended for the work they've done, bringing that money home. Thank you.
What page is that on?
10.
Thank you.
All right, of course. Thank you guys for that. I mean, we got on our agenda tonight, a couple of grants. One, I know that Mr. Manager helped us get in, free money is the best kind. All right, item 3B.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I need to formally accept the audit on the minutes. I need a motion for that.
Okay, is there a motion to formally accept the audit?
Motion. And I can put a note of mistakes to remove that, and equipment from audit. That's what you were
I'll second it.
Did Ms. Campbell make the motion? Ms. Campbell made the motion. Mr. Taylor seconded the motion. All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you, board.
All right, item 3B. We are having a second annual town hall meeting Thursday, July 23rd at 6 p.m. at the Gluckstadt Police Department. All are welcome. Ms. Kellum, you want to add anything?
We love citizen engagement, so this is our second annual one. We'll have all of the department heads there. We'll have some of the board there. So we would encourage all of you guys to come and ask all your questions.
All right, item 4 is approval of the consent agenda with one addition, and that agenda is you're asking approval for Chief Hale has requested that we add a cost of $550 so that somebody can attend the 2026 Metro Conference in Biloxi. Is this for Chief Hale?
So this is for Officer Sloman. He is down on the coast as we speak in a conference, and we need to pay the registration that was left off the claims last month.
Okay, so his $550 registration was left off of the consent agenda. So with that one addition, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make the motion.
I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item 4B. I'm sorry, item 5.
So this is your monthly budget reports. That we provide you guys each month. If y'all have any questions, let me know.
All right,
Just a FYI.
same thing with regard to 5B, the bank reconciliations. Absent questions, we will move on to item number 6.
Did you skip 4D?
I'm sorry,
4D, is that part of the whole?
that was all.
So that was on the consent.
That was on the
Okay,
consent.
okay.
I just
Did you want
misspoke.
to, I just had a couple questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
I should have asked that before you approved it, huh?
Did we get any second quotes for that?
Item 4D, for the 10 quote, Mississippi 10 quote.
We have not got it. It's a rental, so we shouldn't have to have a quote on it.
Well, no, it was a large amount and. I
Well,
know
that's,
that
you also
funds-
it's discounted it
Yeah,
substantially, so,
To answer your question, I don't think there was but one quote.
okay.
yeah.
Do you think, with the amounts that y'all have, like, do you think you're going to need all of that? The 7 tents and the 500 chairs?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, we sat down and gone through, and we've moved things, we changed things, and relocated things, and, you know, we finally came to a set number. We do feel very confident that's what we need. Like, we're planning on tentatively right now, 3,000 or 3,500 people, so that's what it's set up for.
Let me just add with regard to Mississippi 10, you know, I was not involved in getting the quote, but I understand that this is a discounted quote. And let me also say this, you know, Mississippi 10, those local people, and we try to deal with them. We're not gonna be taken advantage of, and certainly this quote wouldn't be taking advantage of us, but they do a lot for the city. They donated a lot for the city. And I don't think it is improper or inappropriate for us to do this. Of course, you know, the board can always pass a rule that says you always have to get 2 quotes regardless of what it is, if that's what you guys want to do. But we have always tried to use local. The Mississippi tent people have been very generous to the city. The same people who had a large role in donating the park property to us. So I don't want to, I know you weren't trying to.
No, I'm glad you're using them.
And the property
and
is
I
also
didn't-
belongs to him. That we're
Yeah,
doing it with.
I had no idea y'all were expecting that many people. I thought it was gonna be more like the 4th of July fest, where it was like just several people.
All right, let's go on to 6A. Guys, you know, we have been working with Mr. Dabbs had a great conversation with him with regard to extending the lease on this building for 12 months. And he agreed to extend it at the current lease of $8,792 per month, 1-year extension. However, he did want us to pick up the taxes and insurance, which are estimated to be about $15,000 for the next year. So in essence, our rent will go up about $1,200 or so. I didn't do all the math, whatever 15,000 divided by 12 is. But he's been very kind to allow us to extend for a year, and hopefully that will suffice for what we need over the next year to maintain our city hall here. So you have before you his letter that authorizes us to extend the lease. I just simply need your approval before executing it and extending the lease. Any questions at all about that?
So he'll separate those payments out monthly.
Is it prorated?
Yes. Yes.
If we decide that they take the building before. we just don't have to pay for the year.
It's a 1-year lease extension, yes. All right, is there a motion then to approve the extension of the city hall lease for 1 year?
Motion.
Mr. Taylor made the motion. Mr. Powell, did you second?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Powell seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, item 6B is a new item that we're adding on the agenda. It is the animal control ordinance amendment that pertains to a very serious issue that has come up in Richfield concerning honeybees. Mr. Powell, do you want to talk about it?
Sure, I'll be glad to. So, I was approached by Ms. Anita. Are you here today? Ms. Anita, thank you for coming. And, about an issue that's been ongoing in Richfield for a while now. And it's really spilling over to where it's affecting where they can't go into their yards. They can't have any kind of outdoor activities, outdoor life on basically any side of the house. And the issue is that the gentleman that's next door to him is raising bees in his backyard and selling honey. And so she sent me several videos, and you can see, and I've showed them to all the board members, and they're seeing it. And it's just swarms of bees everywhere. I mean, I would be scared to go mow my backyard. And from my understanding, I think you wear the bee suit to mow his backyard. You know, so we shouldn't have a bee issue in a residential neighborhood. You know, I can see if somebody lives on a lot of property, they want to raise bees, hey, that's all, let's do it. But, you know, you should be able to walk out your back of your house, you know, in Ridgefield subdivision and not worry about getting stung by bees. And so I brought it up with the mayor, we reached with Mr. Giddy and everybody with Mr. Payne. And so they have, I guess, updated the ordinance with section 9, which will deal with invertebrate, which basically would be dealing with the bees. And from my understanding, I'm sure you've looked at it, I think Chief's looked at it, so y'all feel like you use the heat that y'all need to be able to handle the situation.
Yes, we do. And in the future, we might do an amendment to the zoning as well to get it specific to R1 subdivisions and outside of the smaller subdivisions. But this will help us here.
So this proposed amended ordinance adds section 9 with regard to nuisance insects. And you'll note that section 9.3 prohibits the keeping, breeding, propagating, etc. of insects in a manner that creates a nuisance, which would directly impact what's going on there now. It's my understanding that if the board were to unanimously approve this ordinance tonight, it would go into effect immediately.
Yes, Mayor, I do have language included in the amendment to the ordinance that the effective date would take effect immediately to preserve for an immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Gluckstadt, but it does have to be a unanimous vote.
And that way, we could begin enforcing this amended ordinance tomorrow so as to give these folks some relief. And I would urge you guys to do that, because this is something that we can take care of, or we should take care of. Are there any questions about this amended animal control ordinance? Okay, then I would ask for a motion to approve the adoption of this amended ordinance.
Make that motion, sir.
Mr. Powell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Was that Ms. Bates? Ms. Bates seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So it's unanimous. And it'll go into effect immediately. So we'll take care of getting this, working on this in a month. Okay? Good luck, guys.
So what's the next step in the process?
I'll get with Chief tomorrow. We'll approach the landowner. We're about to find out.
Mr. Chairman, he's not.
I'm actually allergic to
concerned
them,
whether
so
or
I'm
not
pretty
he has to be sued. He's just hoping Chief Powell has to be sued. Chief Hale. Chief Hale. Chief Hale has to be sued. Chief Hale, you got to be sued? All right, let's go to item number 7. Ms. Kelly, that was 6B.
Yes, is that gonna, the other
Executive session.
I'm sorry.
the other lease?
This one right here.
Okay, so,
Executive session.
Doesn't qualify for executive session.
I don't have 6C. Oh, here. Let's table 6C for tonight. We had some discussions about making some changes to our public works and where we all are, and we've had some issues that have arisen today, so if y'all would just allow me to table this and we can discuss it if necessary at the next meeting, okay? Item 7A.
yes, sir. I received an email from the tax accountant, senior tax accountant at Vertex, and they're requesting a appeals process for the denial of their tax exemption request for Freeport. If the board recalls, Vertex did not approach us by the deadline of April 1st to submit for a tax exemption request. Now that we're a city, previously they'd probably done so with the county, but and I've not followed up with the county to see if they received anything at this point. But usually they would let me know if they received an exemption request. And now they're asking for an appeal to my letter that I sent out after the denial in May.
Vertex is asking for appeal.
Yes,
Do
and
they understand that it was denied because they never applied for it?
it's in my letter.
Is it too late for them to apply now?
Yes,
Okay. Do we have an appeal process?
Next year.
legal.
They can appeal to you all to, possibly reconsider your decision like anybody else can, but as far as the only legal appeals process is like anything else, that from a denial or somebody that disagrees with the board's decision can appeal it to the circuit court. However, there is that 10-day window that they have to do that. And I believe that this denial was in May, so their legal avenue is cut off, but they can always, I suppose, approach you all to reconsider your vote.
Yeah, the denial was done May 28th, and then we sent a letter to all entities on June 1st and let the Madison County Tax Assessor know for their roles because they have to prepare the tax rolls for the following year. So it's really, we're up to, way past the deadline to let them know anything for this year.
What was the deadline for them to apply?
April 1st.
Did we send out notices to them letting them know that they
We
did?
didn't this year, we did the prior year. This is not something that we really want to get in the habit of doing. This is their responsibility. We did it the prior year out of courtesy, which I'm happy if the board directs me to do that again. We can make that an annual thing, but really this is on the tax, on them to come to us and ask for this exemption.
All right, any questions or comments about
Yeah,
this?
and the letter you sent them in May, that's just also a courtesy letter. So
It is. Well, we are to notify them if they're denied. If the board takes action, we do have to notify them. But the prior year, we sent it to everybody, letting them know that, like, that's a city now, you must come to us, and this is our process, and application, everything, so. We can't chase these folks down, pre-port.
So have they submitted application or they just asked for?
I have never, since being city clerk, received any application from Vertex.
And I've been trying to, with Mr. Chang, I've been trying to set the time to talk to him. We just haven't coordinated schedules enough yet to inform him, the actual process that, if he wants to appeal something, it has to be under 115175, which is the 10-day, window to appeal to the circuit court, other than, requesting you all to reconsider, your denial.
So they paid their privilege license.
All right, so absent any motions from the board, we'll move on to item 8. Are there any motions with regard to items 7-8?
I'd like to make a motion to give them a week to file.
This year?
This year.
Okay. Yes, sir.
7 days.
Make a motion to deny the appeal.
All right, so Williams has made a motion to allow them to apply for the exemption for 1 week from today. Ms.
I
Campbell,
can't promise that would get on the tax rolls though.
This is like,
It's not just
the county.
Yeah, we're kind of at the will of the county with that, and they're kind of already in their process.
And what was the due date?
June 1st.
Yeah. So if we make this vote, it won't necessarily change anything as of right now.
I don't think it would impact this tax roll.
Yeah,
They would have to apply.
so you're gonna have to apply anyway in January.
I think it's too late. But you can make your motion. I can't tell you not to make a motion. Mr. Williams has made a motion to give them a week to apply. Is there a second? All right, Mr. Williams, good try. I think that resolves the issue. We can move on to item 8. Okay, Ms. Campbell, you happy? Okay. All right, let's go to item 8. Your update, Ms. Kellum?
Good afternoon, board, or good evening. I have just a quick update, mainly grant reporting, our quarterly grant reporting deadlines fall tomorrow on July 15th for a number of grants. I handled or took care of the most grants today, our first reporting deadline for it. And they received it, that's confirmed. And we'll be working on our DPS reporting as well as our JAG grant reporting tomorrow. Also, later on the agenda, I'm requesting approval to apply for a tourism grant, which I'll be writing as well tomorrow, ahead of the deadline on Friday. So I hope that y'all will consider that and approve it. Also, we have legislative reporting for Calhoun Station Parkway and for Gluckstadt Road, so that will be completed tomorrow. And then obviously budget season as well in action right now. So that's pretty much taking up a lot of our time. Any questions on my?
Any questions of Ms. Kellum on her just general update? Mr. Mall, monthly privilege report. Anything to add? Any questions of Mr. Mall about his privilege license report? All right, item 8C, Ms. Kellum.
Yes, sir. I'm requesting that the board allow us to add a supplemental benefit for our employees. This is an employee paid contribution or deduction. This is not something that the city would pay for, but it would just add to our package, for them to be able to have an extra option for college savings. This is something that I took part in when I first started with the state in 2009. I'm dating myself. But I've saved up a great amount of money for my child's education, and now she's about to go off to college next year. And this was a significant help to me, and I think it would be something that would benefit a lot of our employees that would be interested. So, and it doesn't cost the city anything.
All right, any questions of Ms. Kellum about the Affordable College Savings Plan and adding that to our list of employee paid benefits? All right, is there a motion to allow that? All right, Ms. Bates made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Campbell seconded. All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, grants update, Ms. Kellum, item 8B.
Yes, sir. Nothing real significant to report. We're kind of in our reporting deadlines, as I was explaining earlier. The only thing that I would ask y'all to look at is at the very bottom. I am requesting for a new grant, to apply for a new grant of up to $10,000 to help with German Fest. So that's something that's on your agenda in a couple of items. That's really the newest thing on there. Everything else is just kind of, adding our expenditures and our reimbursements and reporting deadlines. So if you have any questions about any of that, feel free to ask.
Any questions at all about her monthly grants update and the various report years that she's given us?
Great job.
All right, before we move on, let's go ahead and take up item 8G. You want approval from the board to apply for this tourism grant up to $10,000?
Yes, sir. So this is for festivals and events, and German Fest certainly qualifies for that. I think there would be a lot of interest from Visit Mississippi to add this, because it's something that is unique to Gluckstadt. And I've asked for a letter of support from the Business Alliance, as well as Representative McMillan and the Rotary Club. So I'm going to plan on including that with the application. My goal is to get it done tomorrow.
In terms of a match, we just don't know right now.
No, there should not be any match. This is for up to $5,000 to $10,000 in funds.
Okay. Any questions at all about that?
And then the only real rule too is we have to, some of that's got to be committed to advertising and promo. And that's in the red right there on that. So if we get 5,000 out of 10, I think 5,000 has to be committed to advertising, and we have to use the logo, Visit Mississippi, all of that. So, and I'll make sure that's done.
All right, is there a motion then to authorize us to apply for this grant?
Motion.
Ms. Campbell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Powell seconded. All in favor?
Sure.
Any opposed? All right, that takes care of 8G.
Thank you.
I think we're done with 8E, so let's go to 8D. Now let's go to 8E. Formal acceptance of the Exxon grant.
So,
Mr. Miniger helped us with. Thank you, Carrie.
we did. Our EMA director went after this one and was able to receive $5,000 to support gas monitors, which I know nothing about, but he could probably tell you because he's the EMA director. So this is just requesting formal acceptance of the grant so that we can do a budget amendment in August to add that into our revenues and start or issue the PO for his needs.
Mr. Mango, you want to add anything to it?
No, Exxon was grateful enough to, give it to us, and we appreciate their partnership with the community.
All right, is there a motion then to accept Exxon's grant?
Make that motion, sir.
Mr. Howell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Bates seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Mr. Menninger. Now, item 8F,
So in
the
addition,
Justice Assistance Grant.
yes, sir, in addition to receiving, the grant from Exxon for 5,000, we have also been notified that we've been awarded a $13,820 grant for purchase of new laptops for the police department that will be in compliance with the CAD system, that they just put in. So, we're in the process of kind of updating all of their laptops, and we'll actually be submitting for some additional laptops in the future. I think another 5 or 8, for a similar grant.
Any questions about this Justice Assistance or JAG grant? Is there a motion then for us to accept their $13,820?
Motion.
Ms. Campbell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Bates seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you, Ms.
Can I
Kelly.
ask one question?
Yes,
real quick,
sir.
Mr. Owen? So I know I always bring up that we're a citizen-driven city, but hopefully we got a few people here that walk and collect the signatures, and, you know, I want to make sure that we remember our roots and where we came from. That being said, a lot of our citizens like to know what's going on with the agendas and stuff. Is there any reason, if we have a policy, that we could not have the agenda updated on the website by like a month, day before the event, by 10 o'clock or something?
And that's a board decision or policy decision. We've talked with the Ethics Commission about this issue, and the Open Meetings Act says that we are to make materials available at the time of the meeting, so we've always followed that.
Sure.
But the board could certainly pass a policy, you know,
Right.
however they see fit.
But my question is directly to you, as a clerk, is there any issue from y'all's office if we were to do it by 10 o'clock?
Really, the only issue that I could foresee, Alderman Powell, would be any supplements. You know, as you can imagine, we've got some today. There's some departments and sometimes, you know, things that get pushed until the last minute. So that would be the only thing that I think would affect it. But I could certainly, you know, make sure that we have that, you know, as early as possible, depending on when we get it.
Okay. Well, then I would like to see if I was creating a policy at the next board meeting for discussion that, you know, that we have the agenda and packets uploaded the day before a meeting by like 10 o'clock a.m. If possible.
The day before the meeting?
Yes, sir. So like, if the meeting's on Tuesday, if we got a special meeting and we know about it, and obviously if it's a special meeting, you can't do it, but if it's a special meeting in August, then, you know, we can have it before then. So the day before whatever the meeting is, or say, let's say with, planning and zoning, you know, same thing, except the day of, it's done the day before, about 10 o'clock, that gives people time to look at it.
Okay, so are you making a motion that we adopt that policy now?
Well, I would like to have a policy brought
That's
forward.
right.
No, sir, no, I mean, I don't think we have a policy right now that we can do that.
Okay.
I
so
would like
you
to
want-
have a policy that we can discuss at the next board meeting, and maybe we like it, maybe we don't. I would like to have something we can discuss.
All right, well, we'll get that. Mr. Giddy, you'll get us some sort of a policy to consider before our next meeting.
Do you have a note, Mr. Goody? I'll send you an email.
Thank you.
All right, item 9. Mr. Dearman, general update.
Good evening, everybody. Real quick, we got a few requests for the board today. Planning and Zoning Commission did meet on the 23rd. The minutes are attached here, and the Art Commission also met on June 16th. The P and Z and building departments had a total of 23 new permits and submissions in the amount of $34,327. The permit log is available. There are a few items, but 2 of them are extremely excited to present. One's the city park, and one's also our architectural standards that we're requesting adoption for tonight.
All right, any questions of Mr. Dearman about his general update? All right, let's go to 9B.
All right, as I mentioned, we were really pleased to present 2 requests for the city park tonight. One's a conditional use, which is public, quasi-public in any zone. So we're requesting a conditional use for that and the site plan. We did hold a public hearing for the conditional use with P and Z, and we did not have any opposition to that. We also had the site plan recommended for approval from the P and Z as well. Along with some great partners, the city has been working on this project for a long time. And with that said, I'd like to turn this over to everyone's favorite public works director, Chris Buckner, to introduce it. But I did want to say he and his assistant Amber has been working extremely hard on this, and they deserve a lot of credit.
Talking like a Laurel and Hardy deal.
All right, I guess first for the conditional use, we're requesting the board to allow us to use the park or the property that was donated to us for a park. Is that one?
Yeah, so we need 2 votes tonight. One's to allow conditional use and one's approving the site plan.
All right, any questions at all about the request of the city to turn this property into a park? All right, is there a motion then to approve the conditional use? All right, Ms. Bates made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Campbell seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, site plan 9C.
All right, before y'all is the most updated site plan. We received this, we talked about it late Friday and received it Monday. This is the most up-to-date version. This does show the proposed road that we are trying to work on getting that will come from Buckstadt Way to the east side of the park to allow access for the parking over there in lieu of having access, a main access on Church Road that goes north and south. This access on Church Road will remain. If we get this, however, we will reduce the size of that entrance to where it's just a maintenance and emergency access only entrance. It will stay gated to avoid use. McMaster's and Associates has worked really hard on fitting this in here. I don't know if everybody knows, but majority of this property is floodway and the other half is a pond. So we are fitting a lot into a very little bit of space. And they worked really hard to try to get this pond reshaped, but still allow for the tension of the area the way it was originally created. They're working really hard with grading plans to allow it to have space to overflow, but not have to hold water all the time in places other than the pond. We will have a lot of main parking out here along Calhoun Station, as well as some food truck parking. This will also be the area for our fitness area and calisthenics, sprint course, obstacle course. We got a few renderings that show this area along Calhoun Station. There will also be a small bathroom right here that's a simple 2-stall ADA compliant restaurant facility. It will also have water fountains. We'll be able to use this space for multitudes of things, the way it's shown here. We just did our first farmers market a few weeks ago. We could move that to here if needed, and have it along right here with the food trucks. This is a very wide entrance. It's 2-way pass through. The fitness area, like I said, will be in here. Everything is connected with sidewalks. We'll have signage, explaining information about the park, being able to say all the Most Foundation, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and future sponsors and donations that we can get will all be posted here and as well back in the pavilion, just to give everybody their acknowledgements. Andy McCrory worked really hard on these renderings right through here. That's just another view of the bathroom area. Back in the background will be our pavilion area. What we're looking to do right here, we'll have a seawall alongside for safety everywhere where the playground and the pavilion is. We'd like to step up. We're still going through the minute details of this, but we would like to step up the seawall right here to allow for a stage area, which will give us a good view also looking back towards Calhoun Station. This is kind of just a perspective view looking across the way. But we are really excited about this. Lots of parking on the Calhoun side. We will also have lots of parking back on the east side as well. There'll be plenty of parking. I think there's 73 parking spots just on this east side over here. So when we have events, we'll have a good area.
That's the west.
West side, I'm sorry, west side. Whenever we have events, open lawn events, we'll have plenty of places for people to park, as well as future developments that come in, we could possibly tie in together. Get something over this creek where the parking lot can tie in there as well and increase the capacity for in there. The Hutchinsons and Harold's are working with us right now on this road. McMaster's also dealing with that, trying to get us another access through there. Part of that would be we take over the ditch that's right there and work to maintain that and get that up to good city standards.
So what's been preliminarily discussed is them donating that road to us, and in exchange, just taking over maintenance of the ditch and stuff.
Maintenance of the ditch and also the other drainage areas in the area. On the east side of Calhoun, there's a ditch that did not come with the property. There's a north pond just above Mac Hyatt that we would also take over and be able to maintain that as well.
Those three detention areas serve this entire greater area. Some flows to the north, some flows to the south.
Mr. Buckner's always been concerned about the church, the old, what he calls Little Church Road, the Little Church Road access, because that road is really not designed to handle that kinds of traffic and the people who live on that road. And so we really didn't want to use that as a major entrance exit. Hence his desire to make this road over the Hutchinson property, which would be a much better entrance exit to the park.
And it benefits us meeting place, and that gives PD direct access from their building. If they wanted to, they could run over there. It's not that far away, but probably. But as far as this goes, Ron also worked on a schedule. So this is the schedule of what we're kind of looking to do if the site plan is approved. We're hoping to have the completion of design contract documents on 8/17, and work for the first advertisement for construction bids on 8/20. Anybody have any questions on the timeline? That's kind of just the first start right there. If y'all have any other questions, Ron and his team are here to answer any questions that I cannot.
I just got a question about the ditch. How bad a shape are the ditches?
It's not that it's in bad shape, but we can improve it. If we take ownership of that ditch, we can possibly go back for another MOST grant and provide some stewardship of the detention areas to where we can improve their capacity, maybe make it a gabion ditch where it's got the rock wall with the chicken wire. Instead of having a ditch that's constantly eroding and we're having to go back in and fix, get the dirt out of the pond, those rocks will help keep all that sediment flushed into what we're already working to get what has gone in there out.
So it'll help the flooding.
It'll add a little bit more capacity. I don't think it'll be a game changer if we do that, but it'll definitely
maintain
the erosion. It maintains.
Is there any plans, and it may have been on that slide, but like parking lot lights or?
Yes, we do. Me and Ron were actually talking about that this afternoon. We're looking to have parking lot lights, LED overhead lights on the parking areas. This parking area pavilion will naturally have lights. We'll have it on the terrace area as well. Overhead lights for the playground area, which will be right here, and fitness area. But along the walking trails, we're looking to do bothered lighting instead of having just a ton of overhead lights throughout the park. Kind of tone it down just a little bit so that it's not just one big, shiny light bulb.
Do you have walking trails in the wooded one?
There will be a mulch trail. That's another phase of this project where it will come through for the MOST grant. We have to get that done. But there is a mulch trail that goes through the wooded area. We're not going to eliminate any of the trees in there. We're going to try to keep that.
Which is the floodway, and the only thing you do is very gentle walking area that things can permeate.
There'll actually be a couple of pedestrian bridges that we build. There's a possibility, because that wooded area is going to stay, we're going to get an arborist to look at it. And we might be able to create an arboretum in that area right there through one of the other grants that we talked about.
right, any additional questions? Thank you guys. Thank you for all this great work, and, I look forward to seeing it in
I can
action.
introduce him. This is Brandon. Brandon's been working on grade plan. Andy's sitting next to him. He worked on all the renders and the concept plan. Ron is Mr. Domestic. And Lane, she worked on all the drainage, making sure the water calculations, everything's gonna work right if we do this so we don't mess up.
Well, thank you all. All right, is there then a motion to approve the site plan for the Glowstadt Park?
Make that motion, second.
Mr. Powell made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good work, guys, thank you. All right, item 9D, conditional use for Bear Creek Animal Hospital.
All right, so, Dr. Jessica Moore and her husband Daniel Moore are requesting a conditional use and a site plan approval today for their new, veterinary clinic animal hospital. I've been working with them for a couple months now, trying to find them a good location, and we kind of finally locked in on this one over there on Weissenberger. It's in between Seasons and the CO2 plant there. Perfect little spot for them. There's no other veterinary clinic on this side of town. They're proposing a 4,000 square foot facility. The conditional use is needed because they're planning on having outside runs for the dogs. We did hold a public hearing at P&Z, and they recommended approval of conditional use and the site plan, and we went through the architectural committee as well. And the architectural committee recommended a few changes, and the applicants jumped on it, changed it. They added the brick front, increased the window sizes, and put some exterior linings on the side. That is hardy board all the way around. There's no metal except for the roof of the building. So they really kind of approached it with the new standards in mind. Let me show you a little bit more of it. Here's the site. So the back of this site, I'm just gonna kind of combine, we need 2 votes on this as well, but the back of this site's all floodway, so they cannot do anything back here. They're gonna fence in this area. But, excuse me, Dr. Moore does plan on having a large animal aspect to this vet. It's the same day treatment, come in, do their thing, then they're out. And there's gonna be a fencing all the way around it. So all that action will happen behind the fencing. That is a little unique to the city, but that's one of their requests today as well. Show you the rest of them. So here's parking. They meet all the setbacks, parking requirements. They got the dumpster with the dumpster pad as well. And this is kind of where the cutoff is for the fencing. The outside run is going to be on this side towards the CO2 plant. It's kind of a little bit better area right there. And they'll have some limestone in the back. They've more than significant enough landscaping, which is really going to improve this area because both neighbors do not have very much landscaping. And here's what we're looking at in terms of the building. So a brick front facade with hardy plank boards on the front as well as the side, wrapping all the way around it.
All right, any questions at all about the Bear Creek Animal Hospital's request for a conditional use?
You mentioned large animals.
Mainly equine,
Oh.
yeah.
And
And it's gonna be a very small percentage. We're gonna be majority small animal, but just to support some large animal services.
I don't think we have a veterinary for equine right now, do
We do.
Distribution
Dr.
wise.
Vines.
Right.
Yep. Equine only. He's 100% equine.
Is there, I'm assuming there's enough room for like horse trailers?
Correct, in the back. So that, and Jessica, correct me, so that's the plan for the large animals is they'll pull straight in through the gate right here. They'll have room to turn around, and they actually have an existing shed right here. But this will all be blocked from public view.
Right. What's the employee parking? So I wasn't sure maybe enough room, but, and then dumpster and stuff. Okay.
Will y'all do honeybees?
We'll draw the line at honeybees.
All right, is there a motion then to approve their conditional use or grant their conditional use? Mr. Taylor made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Campbell seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, on to the site plan for the hospital, Bear Creek Animal Hospital. Is there a motion to approve their site plan?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Taylor made a motion. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Powell seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Congratulations, guys. All right, 9F.
9F, so, Mr. Betty is presenting an updated site plan for the Shell gas station at the intersection of Highway 51 and Sour Road. He received approval for conditional use and site plan back in 2024, started work on the project and had to stop due to some conditions outside of his control. The slab and the rough-in plumbing has already been poured. Due to the time lapse since he stopped work, we've asked him to go back through the site plan approval and the permitting process. Let me get to his. Should have let Scott keep driving.
They said they wanted to.
Yeah. I'm regretting it now, Scott.
They were actually bragging about it.
Right. Are we doing it though? Yes. Can't do two things at once.
You go back to your.
As you can see from the drawing, the footprint of the building, like I said, has already been poured. But one thing we've requested him to do is to add additional parking, because he does plan to have some restaurants on both sides of the gas station. If you're going down, the landscaping is more than sufficient. One more, let's get to the actual building. So we went through ARC and we've made a couple other requests. What was approved initially had an arch tower and it was much shorter and it was all stucco. So we requested to go to brick, give us a higher tower with a more pitched look, add some wood framing and kind of get some of that European flair into it. So he's removed all the stucco, going down one more. And then, so we're brick all the way on both sides. The main front of the building faces 51, and then this front right here faces Sour Road. We've also asked him, where you don't see windows in the building, that's the coolers or the kitchen of the restaurant. So we've asked him to add those faux windows wherever you cannot put windows. We feel like it's a really good upgrade. And again, we're just requesting site plan amendment and let him get back started to work on this.
All right, any questions about the Betty Shell Station site plan amendment?
That's the original one right there.
So no drive-throughs and the gas pumps in the back?
No drive-through. Yes, the gas pumps are on the west side of the property. But there are no drive-through restaurants because he's got parking up against. It's going, he doesn't know yet. I think he's got one tenant for a restaurant and the other one he's not sure yet.
All right, is there a motion then to approve this amended site plan?
Motion approved.
Mr. Taylor made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Campbell seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, item 9G.
All right, we're excited to present to the board the architectural standards. We're requesting adoption of the standards tonight. As you know, we've been working on this for a while, and it sounds like the city's actually been working on it for several years. So one thing I'm requesting change in is our actual administrative and review process. This is what we have currently, the ARC P&Z workflow. So the first week I get submissions, I start reviewing, and since Chris and I have started, we call it a PAM meeting, planning action meeting, where all the department heads get together and look over what's coming up through. And per Ms. Campbell's request, I started emailing the Board of Aldermen preliminary things that are coming through the month. So you just kind of get an idea of what we're working on. I've started here recently sending it also to ARC and P&Z, and as you can see, my second week there, it gets really crammed. The ARC meeting is the third week, P&Z is the fourth week. And what I'm seeing is, as we get comments and stuff back, the applicants have very little time to make adjustments and me to create an agenda and get it on these following meetings. So I'm requesting, at one reason, because the majority of our architectural board are commissioners on the P&Z. I'd like to see it to where we're just doing P&Z, letting 7 people looking at it, and then we roll into MOB. And if you scroll down to the next one. So the way we've done these, there's there's an ordinance to do it the typical way we're doing it now, and an ordinance to get rid of the art committee, and we push everything through P and Z. As you see this workflow, it gives me almost an additional 2 weeks if we get rid of the art meeting. We do the same thing. We go through Pam, we send it out to you guys, we send it out to all the P and Z commissioners. They give me comments that second week. That gives me a week and a half, almost 2 weeks to get their recommendations, any of y'all's recommendations or thoughts added to their submittals. And then it gives me plenty of time to get anything for the P and Z meeting on the 4th week of the month. And I also feel these new architectural standards, I'm actually already seeing it. They're so detailed that the submittals are increasing and getting better. There's some of the architects have already said this, they said this gives me a lot better thing to work off of as opposed to a 2-page document, you know. So I really think the P and Z option is going to, everybody gets more chance to look at it, and by the time we get to the P and Z meeting, it's going to be an easier approval or denial process. You know, if the applicants do not want to go by the recommendations, it's going to be a pretty easy P and Z and Board of Aldermen meeting as well. So most importantly, we really want to adopt these standards, and the real question is, do we stick with the process we have now, or if we go back just to a P and Z board and then to the mayor Board of Aldermen?
Mr. Dearman, does the board's adoption of these architectural design standards accomplish the procedural changes that you're asking for?
Yes, they do. Yes. So go ahead, Zach.
There's 2 versions of an ordinance that we prepared. One adopts the design regulations and guidelines and only repeals the previously adopted architectural standards that the city adopted. The second version of the ordinance does the same thing, except it also is going to repeal the Architectural Review Committee ordinance. If you take, based on Mr. Kane's recommendation, that the art committee no longer be there and everything flowed through P and Z. So we had to repeal the Architectural Review Committee. So one ordinance only repeals the previously adopted architectural standards. The second ordinance, if adopted, would repeal both the old architectural standards as well as the art committee.
And the standards themselves is written administrative and review for the art committee, and the second one is written for the P and Z to do it.
Mr. Powell?
Yes, sir. So obviously I've been championing this for a long time for getting what we want our city to look like. It's been a long time coming. I can tell you the art committee has been a huge asset to getting us where we need to be, helping out with this, and also just looking at everything. They got a little bit more of an eye on that. I'm 100% want to see the regulations and guidelines voted on tonight. I would like to have this part put off until I can have time to talk to people in the art committee and P and Z and get their feedback, see what they think, because I think the art committee is a huge asset to the city. And I personally would like to see it going on, but I'd like to get the input from the art committee members and from P and Z to get their thoughts on it.
And one thing, the art committee is the P and Z. I mean,
but they're looking at stuff a little bit more detailed than what the P and Z has been looking at.
And one deal I kind of had, one idea I had for this is we got 7 P and Z commissioners. What I wanted to do was, in the preliminary review, give 3 of them a site role, 3 of them an architectural role, and the chairman kind of overlook it all, as well as myself. So that's all in the initial preliminary review thing. So at that point, we got a lot of eyes on, and then we work our way to P and Z where everybody looks at it together.
Did you talk to architectural review?
We did. 2 of the architectural members did not want to change it. Mr. Soller is good either way. And then some of the P and Z were kind of, you can go either way, you know. So I'm also fine either way. It's just I feel like it's just going to be a more efficient way, mainly because the fact is the majority of our art members is on the P and Z. You know, I don't think I'd want to change anything if that was different. You know, if those were different people.
I have a statement. I will say, I think what he's presenting is a lot easier for businesses to apply get their changes done in a more efficient and costing less to the business coming in. I've personally had to deal with that, and I know several people that have had to deal with building a building in Gluckstadt, and it's a lot of back and forth. So what he's presenting, number one, makes his job easier. Number two, costs the person coming in less money. And so.
And the other thing too is,
It would like you said, the art commission is 3 people. One person is fine leaving. The other two are being on the board, the BNC board anyway.
and again, like, for example, I'm talking to a lot of these applicants before it even gets, and now that I'm passing this out to them, before it even allow it into the meetings, we're already kind of seeing things get adjusted before that point. And there's one applicant right now I hadn't even let on the board, to the meetings 3 times because they're not even getting close, you know. So I understand the thought process there, and I do think it would make it more efficient. We went that route.
Anybody else have questions? Mr. Giddy, would you put both of those ordinances or whoever's got the ordinances for the board to consider? I have one ordinance in my material.
So the reason so this would be the first one here, and this one only is it adopts the design regulations, only repeals the previously adopted architectural review standards, and then it would have the actual ordinance itself, the actual standards themselves, still have every filtering through the architectural review committee.
Right.
And the reason it's so lengthy is because after you get to the preamble and where the vote section is, it actually has the standards attached behind it. So that way it's easier to see both. But the second version, the design standards have changed. The design standards have changed so that everything flows only through the planning and zoning committee, and then the ordinance repeals both the architectural review standards that are already adopted as well as the architectural review committee.
I just have only one. That's why I was asking. Do all of you have both of them? I don't think we have one of them up here. So the one that we have,
Both are in the back, but they're under 2 separate sections.
so in the materials, we have at pages 332 and 333, an ordinance establishing the design regulations and guidelines.
There you go.
It's also on the second version starts on page 393 and 394.
Wait.
I got you.
Yeah,
So that it's got the actual text of the design standards in between the two, so that's why it adds some pages.
All right.
But it was, go back
Thanks
to
for
the
complicating
administrator.
for me.
I think if we didn't have the standards already done, we would need an architectural review board. But they're pretty much done.
Yeah, and the way the standards are written, it's identifying an area, and then the standards are very specific to that area. It makes it pretty easy to review. And I personally feel like if I send these things out to them early on, it gives everybody a chance to send me their comments, then we can we've got enough time to get those incorporated before we present it to a bigger board.
I mean, I've known businesses try to open and close that and build, and the process was so chaotic that they left.
So was the process because of architecture, or was the process because of other things that we're not discussing now?
Well, this was before we had the architectural standards, but there was so much back and forth that they left.
And so now, is there a lot of back and forth now, like in the past month?
There is. There's a lot of changes requested. There's a lot of changes requested at the ARC board.
Which is the reason we have the art board.
Well, correct, but we didn't have standards either.
Yeah,
We had
the
the basic, but I understand, yeah. So kind of the way I see it is like we get these comments back to us earlier, we got time to get revisions done so we get to that point. You know,
He's not suggesting that we're not gonna have it.
Yeah, not
passed
at all.
on, we're just gonna have P and Z do it instead of a part of P and Z, which sits as the ARC board, and then have them do it again as a redundant step.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
with that said, what you have in front of you now are 2 different proposed ordinances. One of them goes through only 4 subparagraphs, and it simply repeals the architectural design ordinances
Right.
and adopts the architectural design regulations and guidelines.
And
The
Mayor,
other
that,
one, the other proposed one actually repeals the architectural review committee ordinance.
correct.
Sorry, letting Chris know to stay on the screen so that it didn't confuse everybody.
All right, so
Mayor, the first one would keep ARC committee intact and then P and Z. The second one would repeal the standards and repeal the ARC committee and put everything under the P and Z.
So you're not getting rid of anyone, you're just kind of approaching both at the same time?
The only one this would get rid of would be Mr. Solar. And he's fine with it, with his schedule, and he actually, you're welcome to talk to him. He actually agrees with this process, you know.
And if you get 6 months into this and it's not working,
We can change it.
Or we could look at adopting and let our art community stay in until we feel comfortable that we have everything that we need in place and we feel good with it. And then we can at that point look at if we need to just ban the art community, we could do that at that point,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, there's 2 options. Yes. So the first one would keep everything like it is, adopting the standards. The second one is adopting the standards, putting everything under the P and Z.
Do we have any examples of where you set these standards to a business and it's come back to the architecture review committee?
Well, we're just now, like this month's meetings are the ones that are first,
Okay,
until we approve them, we're kind of working in a gray area
right. Yeah.
between the 2 standards. And we really need to get the standards approved, especially with what's coming.
the issue is with regard to steps and going through the
Correct.
process.
Correct.
It's not substantive. It is that he's got to go to ARC and take these folks through ARC. That's comprised 2/3 of by P and Z members, and then go to P and Z to have them pass on it again. And he's suggesting that we just disband ARC and let P and Z handle it as a more efficient process. Nothing substantive in that sense.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that said, there are 2 options. You can either adopt the new standards and leave the ARC process as it is, or you can adopt the new standards and disband ARC. Those are the 2 options that are before you now.
I make a motion to adopt the new standards and disband the art board.
I don't like that word disband because they're still included.
Right.
Yeah, the only
Right.
person we would be not in part of the process
Would be
would be
Mr. Solar,
Mr.
yeah.
Solar.
All right, so Ms. Campbell made a motion, and I'm gonna call it adopting ordinance number 2, which adopts the design standards. And
A second.
what word do you like? If you don't like disband,
Repeal the architectural.
repeals the architectural review committee ordinance. You're a lawyer. All right, so Mr. Campbell made that motion. Mr.
And I'd like
Taylor
to make a
seconded.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the first one and give us time to get our standards in place. Let's leave our art committee in place until we're ready to repeal them, wherever it is we need to do. Could be a month from now, could be 2 months from now, but we got everything in place and we feel good with it.
All right, Mr. Powell made a motion to simply adopt the standards and leave everything else as is. Is there a second of his motion?
Second.
All right, Mr. Williams, second. All right, so let's take Ms. Campbell's motion, seconded by Mr. Taylor. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Williams, how do you vote on that motion?
On the second?
On the first one?
Motion. Ms. Campbell's motion
Proposed.
to adopt number 2.
I didn't hear any yeas or nays, so let's try it again.
Which one are we voting?
Ms. Campbell made that motion to adopt the standards and repeal the ARC ordinance. Mr. Taylor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell and Mr. Taylor, all opposed?
Aye.
All right, so that one fails 2-3. So Mr. Powell's motion, seconded by Mr. Williams, to adopt the standards and leave ARC as is. All in favor?
Aye.
I heard 2 votes.
Big Chip's vote.
Ms. Williams, Ms. Williams, are you voting?
I second it.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna count you as a vote. Any opposed? All right, that one passes 3-2.
Thank you, guys. You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Buckner.
Good evening to you. All right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're throughout the process of, looking into the park and getting things done. We have been doing the last little bit of it, which is our pavilion. And the first step in that was a design of what we wanted to do, but also getting an architect to design the plan so that we can start getting quotes and bid it out to see how much this is going to cost. We've talked to multiple architects, and we would like the board to approve Robert Polk as the architect. This is based off of experience. In Mississippi, you cannot ask for estimates really. You have to choose engineers based off their experience. So he has done quite a few pavilions and is very familiar with what needs to be done. All the architects were, in talking with him, we think he would be good for the job.
All right, any questions, Mr. Buckner, about selecting Mr. Robert Polk as the architect for the pavilion and fitness area? All right, is there a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Taylor made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Campbell seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 10B.
All right, in keeping up with our pavement management plan, we took a look at Germantown subdivision, and noticed that a lot of cracks are starting to show in there. And in order to prevent that road from deteriorating faster than we would like it to, we'd like to go in there and do some crack sealing to prevent the moisture from getting underneath the road. We got 2 quotes for this, one from Sunbelt Sealing and one from Warren Building. And we would like the board to approve, we would recommend the board to approve Sunbelt Sealing as the lowest quote.
Any questions at all about the approval of this quote to do the Germantown subdivision crack sealing? All right, is there a motion then to approve the Sunbelt sealing quote?
Make that motion, sir.
Mr. Powell made the motion, is there a second? Ms. Bates seconded, all in favor? Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain. Customers are mine.
You're gonna abstain, okay, I will record that as 4-0 with Mr. Taylor abstaining. All right, let's go to item 10C.
All right, it's that time of year again where we need to request the board to advertise for our term bids. Most of these will be for our yearly term bids, except for the 2 asphalt, which will be 6-month bids.
All right, is there a motion to authorize the advertising of return bids?
Motion.
Mr. Taylor made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Campbell seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item 10D.
All right, this goes into what we were just talking about with the site plan. Next step with this would be to bid out the construction of the park property. And we're just asking the board for their approval once we get the bid together or the bid packet together to go ahead and advertise for, bids.
All right, is there a motion to authorize the advertising of bids for the construction of the park property?
Motion.
Ms. Bates made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Campbell seconded, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, you want permission to advertise for the bids for the park equipment and installation.
Once we get the packet together, we would like to have permission to go ahead and advertise.
10E, is there a motion? Ms. Campbell made the motion. Mr. Powell seconded the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, you want to advertise for a maintenance worker position, item 10F.
Correct. We did a little seeing if we could deal with who we got, and I think we do need to replace the last person that we terminated. So we would like to add a maintenance worker position back into our right-of-way crew.
All right, is there a motion to authorize Mr. Buckner to advertise for that position?
Motion.
Ms. Bates made the motion. Is there a second? Mr. Taylor, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Buckner.
Thank y'all.
Chief Hale, item number 11.
Good evening, everyone. How are y'all?
Good.
Mayor, I want to start this off a little bit different because I went to lunch today and Elizabeth, she would come up. She hates attention. She hates attention, but I love it.
Everybody else left when you stood.
You make us do it. We say
People like to run when the police show up. We went to a luncheon today and, of course, every year we have, called the Stat Scramble, what Stat Madison Business Alliance does for it. And it takes a lot of effort and a lot of people to do it, so I'm very proud of them. But we got our check today, and I'm proud to say
Can we get a good check?
Can we get a picture with the board?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
It was a lot of people.
Well, it's all good.
Yes, there's a lot of effort and volunteers and all that that goes into it. Is it upright?
Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Miss Hughes.
I thought you were just getting close.
So is this the third year for this?
Fourth.
Fourth.
So we've done 29.5 over.
Yeah.
29.5. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Chief, I'm happy that I contributed $40.
Thank you.
I bought all the birdies.
I contributed my time and riding on the golf cart. Mayor was out there too. So thank you, Mayor. Our update, we had, I could not get an exact amount, but I know we had over 73 tickets, 25 arrests. We worked 24 accidents since the last board meeting. The new, well, they're not gonna call it new police building no more, but of course, the mayor knows we're still having issues with that, the roof, the AC, and some areas inside the building, the lobby where the wallpaper is coming apart. So that's still an ongoing process that Kerry's on top of, thank God. And they probably hate Kerry. He's like that little dog that don't stop. So it's awesome. He does a good job. So thank you,
Well,
Kerry.
Kerry's not on top, Mr. Vinegar is not on top of it, but it's not because he's not been trying to get on top of it. The problem is that the people that were going to trying to get answers haven't been able to give us much in the way of answers.
Mayor, I will say that, a gentleman from Train came out yesterday, and I spent probably about an hour with him, and he was explaining things. And I think they finally have somebody out there that knows what they're talking about. He made some adjustments to some of the units. He found some issues. He's got some recommendations he's gonna make to the engineer. It already feels better in there now than what he's done. So I think we're headed in the right direction. We keep the roof from leaking. We actually saw a video where there was a leak.
Right. And we have a meeting with all of the stakeholders on Thursday afternoon, from the general contractor to the roofer, to the installer, to the people who manufacture the roof. Everybody's gonna be in one room to talk about trying to resolve these issues that persist, so.
Just did. Thank you, Mayor. Some training we have going. If you have looked at Facebook, we're doing some active shooter training at the school. They allow us graciously to do it. We're actually, they're suiting up in something we're using, something called Sims. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. Sims is like a little bit higher than a paintball. They actually have Sim guns that are blue that look like a Glock. So, and have Sims in the rifle too, and we're doing training in the classroom. So it's actually pretty good. We did it today, and then we're doing it again next Tuesday. SRO Sloma is at Masro conference, thank God. That's another issue we can talk about another. I messed that one up. some of it was me, some of it was an invoice that got sent to, us and it got quarantined. So we never got it, but I forgot. We're gonna have a new system in place where we won't be forgetting stuff going forward. How about that's what I want to say. The Fourth Fest went well. We were able to, get our command trailer out there. It looked good. We put it right beside the fire department. I think ours was better than the fire department. They're not here to argue that case, so we're gonna go with it a little better. Of course, you know, we just received our check. Thank you to that. That's gonna go towards some equipment. And thanks, Chris, for having Amber come over and do our doors. She did a real good job. Put a lot of time and effort into ours and City Hall, so it looks good. I'm not real sure how we're gonna get it off.
With a razor blade.
Well, yeah. But yeah, so the Fourth Fest went well. So some of y'all were there, y'all know. It was hot. That's really all I have as far as the update there.
And both the police department and our public works people showed up for the farmer's market.
Yes.
And received tremendous compliments from the organizer of that, who told me that numerous people in the public stopped her to commend our city people out there on Saturday morning in the heat to do a great job. And it left a huge impression on her and me as well. So thank all of your guys for doing that.
She actually turned in her special event application. She wants to do another one in November.
Yep. So we'll be meeting on that soon. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to make that one, so I'm gonna be the one November.
All right, any questions of Chief Hale about his general update? Chief, 11B, you want to open a new bank account?
Yes. I tell you what, we get surprised all the time when we put those auctions, the cards in the auction. We never thought we were gonna get $14,000 for both of them. So when we put these guns up for auction, we were shocked when somebody actually put a bid in for $13,000 and we took that. So that's where that's coming from. We want to put it into it's got to go into a separate account. It goes towards body armor. It can only go towards body armor, which is great because we're spending about $1,000, a little more on body armor for every officer. So this is going to get us. Hopefully, I'm hoping we don't have to spend it no time soon because I won't have to hire no more officers. But yeah, that's what we're wanting to do. Open up a bank account for that.
All right, so you need the board's approval to open the bank account and put the $13,000 in.
Yes, sir.
All right, is there a motion?
Take a motion, sir.
Mr. Powell made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Taylor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, board.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Yes.
All right, that concludes our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Ms. Campbell made the motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Tom.